Good evening. It is time for today's Tax Talk. I'm your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. Thanks so much for joining us. The IRS every year comes out with all the data. One thing about the IRS, do I not have my, One thing about the IRS is chock full of statistics, numbers like crazy. That's what we're going to talk. Today is Thursday, May 26th, the year of our Lord 2022. And again, the IRS came out with the data book. Every year they come out with this data book. We're going to look at some of the numbers and see what it might mean to you. Won't you join us? Whenever I talk to clients, I try to reveal some of the statistics of the IRS. For instance, I think I've talked a lot about it on this show. I talk about the budget of the IRS. What is the budget? I had a client in today, matter of fact, and we were talking about the IRS, and he said the same thing that we hear all over and over again. Well, the IRS is underfunded because he can't get anybody to answer his phone call. So he came to me because he couldn't get anybody to answer his phone call. And so I said, you know what their budget is? He said, no, I don't. Nobody knows what the budget is. And I had to tell him, $14 billion. He said, billion with a B? I said, yes, $14 billion is their budget. And they can't answer your phone. But again, the IRS comes up with a bunch of everything that you can imagine. So we're going to, let's review it a little bit. It's going to take us a couple of shows, I think, to review some of this data that's in here, because it's pretty revealing. I think it's important for us all to know, how much does the IRS collect? How many tax returns are there? What's the average? How does all of that is in there. All of that is the IRS has this statistics for. So let's see if we could get this to see if we can do this here. Okay. No, you can't. Oh, no, you can't. Okay. Here we go. So this is the, let me do something. Let me take myself out of here so you can see this graph better, and we'll put this up again here. Okay, so here we are. And I'll put myself in just a minute. So this is the graph about total gross collections in the type for fiscal year 2012 through 2021. And so what is pretty amazing about this graph, as we see the sharp increase between 20 and 21. You see a gradual income, gradual, and then boom, big increase from 20 to 21. Especially with individual taxes. Business taxes went up a little, other went up a little, but individual income taxes really took a big spike. So the Internal Revenue Service data book is published annually by the IRS and contains statistical tables and organizational information on its fiscal year basis. So I think the fiscal year is September, so it ends in September. The report provides data on collecting the revenue, issuing refunds, enforcing the law, assisting with the taxpayer, and the budget and workforce. They also did a big survey about what people think, and we can review that too. Not today, but I'll do a little gloss over it, but because there's some interesting statistics there too. You can view selected summary graphs, view key statistics and descriptions of the tables and the IRS functions they cover. To download data tables on IRS and taxpayer statistics, visit the relevant section page listed on the left side navigation column. Okay, so highlights of this year's book. During fiscal year 2021, The IRS collected more than $4.1 trillion in gross taxes, processed more than 261 million tax returns and other forms, and issued more than $1.1 trillion in tax refunds, including $585.7 billion in economic impact payments and advanced child tax credits. In fiscal year 2021, 80.6 million taxpayers were assisted by calling or visiting an IRS office. IRS.gov received nearly 2 billion visits, and taxpayers downloaded more than 461.7 million files. Of the taxpayers who participated in the 2021 Comprehensive Taxpayer Attitude Survey, this is what I was referring to, this is one of the statistics I find surprising, 88% said that it is not at all acceptable. I mean, this is not the one I thought of, because it is not acceptable to cheat on your tax returns. 88% of the people believe it's not acceptable to cheat on their income taxes, and nearly all, 93%, believe it is a civic duty to pay their fair share of taxes. Now, I think what's wrong, what I try to help people with, is don't pay more than your fair share. Right? There's the law is very complicated, but if you're not following the law, if you're not trying to do some tax planning, then you're paying too much, more than your fair share. You shouldn't have to pay more than your fair share. Additionally, most taxpayers, 75%, this is the one that I was surprised at, are satisfied with their personal interactions with the IRS. And then there's a report. If we get to the report, maybe. But there was a story kind of related to this. I just came across the story right before I came on the air. So, but and it's the numbers are a little bit different. But this is from today, and Americans paying most income tax ever. Would you have expected that income taxes now people are paying more than ever? I would not have. The Treasury expects to feed on a 28% surge, and that's that big bump in the graph, in individual income taxes this year, and another spurt in 2025 when the Trump tax cuts expire, according to new budget analysis presented to Congress on Thursday. But they're not using IRS numbers because today was a data book, and they're not using those numbers. The latest Congressional Budget Office report revealed expectations of $2.6 trillion in individual income taxes this year, up from $2 trillion last year. Well, I have the numbers I downloaded here. This is from, very difficult to see. Let's see if we can blow it up a little bit. Let's go to 200%. It's going to be too big, but then you can see some of the numbers. So in 2021, here's the number. The IRS collected $4.1 trillion. Individuals, this is individuals, paid $2.348 trillion in taxes. That's the individual income tax. And then the business income tax paid $419 billion. Remember, and that's why they say, well, corporations are paying their fair share. Well, what happens when corporations pay more taxes is they just raise their prices, and we all pay for their, right? You have to be profitable, and that's one of the factors in how much I'm going to charge is going to be how much taxes I pay as a company. So the more taxes a company pays, the more they have to charge in order to make a break even and then to make a profit. So anyway, I thought that was interesting that the numbers are a little bit off. The latest Congressional Budget Office report revealed expectations. Okay, not only is that the highest ever, but it also is the biggest share of gross domestic product since income taxes began. So more of our money is going to the government as a percentage than ever before. I'm pausing because than ever before. The latest Congressional Budget Office report revealed expectation. Okay, in 2000, I already did that. In 2021, receipts from the individual income taxes totaled $2 trillion. Well, we just showed you that it was actually $2.3 trillion, or 9.1% of GDP. Under current law and on the basis of receipts observed through late April of this year, see, that's what's different because they're basing it on from April of this year. Fiscal year was over in September, so they're different numbers a little bit. CBO expects individual tax receipts to rise by 28% in 2022. And it just spiked 30%. That's pretty amazing. To $2.6 trillion at 10.6% of GDP. That total is expected to be the highest amount of individual income tax receipts recorded since 1913, when ratification of the 16th Amendment authorized the federal government to begin collecting income taxes. The CBO said that the overall federal revenue is expected to reach a record $4.8 trillion in 2022, a 19% one-year increase. 19%. So we're all going to pay 19% more in income taxes. Is the economy so great that we're all making so much money we got to pay more to the IRS? The strong revenue growth in 2021 and 2022 results mostly from large increases in collections of individual tax returns, as we just revealed. Today, total revenues in 2022 are projected to equal 19.6% of the nation's gross domestic product, the largest annual revenues relative to the size of the economy since 2000. The numbers were higher than the agency predicted last year, and as the economy recovers following the virus crisis, they are expected to go further. Is the economy really doing better than we all expected? I don't know if that's true. What's more, the CBO suggested that if the Internal Revenue Service receives the budget hike sought by President Joe Biden, its collection will rise even further. So we're paying more now in taxes than ever before. And the IRS wants more money so they can get more money because it's not enough. We're paying more than ever, and it's not enough. We got too many cheaters. People are now paying more in total taxes than ever, even considering the 2017 tax cuts signed by former President Donald Trump. And they will be paying significantly more when elements of those tax cuts expire in 2025. Well, unless Congress changes and they make those cuts permanent, which I believe they should, my opinion. Receipts from individual income taxes, the largest source of federal revenue, rose sharp. So we're gathering more money than ever before. We're spending more money than ever before. Our debt is higher than ever before. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. The largest source of federal revenues rose sharply in 2021, as the graph showed, and are projected to do so again in 2022 as the economy recovers. Again, as they say, from a recession, and the temporary provisions enacted in response to the pandemic expire. Those receipts are projected to rise again in 2025 because of the scheduled expiration. The report said they keep repeating the same thing. Is that what we should do? Should we? I mean, really, is that what we should do? Get more money, and in 2000, they had this sharp rise since last year, and now it's going to be another sharp rise next year, and then we're going to take a year off maybe, and then there'll be another sharp rise in 2025, and they're getting the greatest percentage of the GDP ever. So more and more of the country's money is going towards the government. More and more, and again, and they spend, 3 times what that is. This last year, they didn't spend $4 trillion, right? They had. If Congress had their way, they'd have the Build Back Better plan, which would have put another $4 trillion. The numbers are staggering. I wanted to show you some of the statistics that are here. Now, again, what I'm these are all the data books for full protection. Individual tables, so returns filed, taxes collected, services to taxpayers, compliance, collection activities, penalties, and appeals. I'm going to go through this, not today, but we're going to go through that collection activities. Because you see how many people are in collections, how many cases they file, how many cases are resolved. How are they resolved? And I think that's very telling about how they resolve these cases. And a lot of people are surprised when I mention these numbers. I'm not going to go through it today, but a lot of people are surprised. Returns, services to taxpayers, how much they spend, selected online taxpayer assistance so I mean the information, math errors on individual income tax returns by type of error. I mean, that's how they come down. They really break it down. They have so many statistics. It's mind-boggling. Collections, costs, personnel, and U.S. population. Affordable Care Act. First-time homebuyer credits. Examination coverage. Examinations are what they call audits. You and I call them audits. The IRS calls them examinations. So we have some upcoming shows to talk about some of this. As you know, we talk about taxes and whatever's in the news. So absent any important news breaks, we're going to talk a little bit about some of these numbers in the coming weeks. Let's see if we can get that. Let's see if we can get that survey about how satisfied people are with the IRS. Here's the index of tables. That's the data book. That's the details. I wanted the survey. Where's the survey? Did I miss that? Well, we'll have to pull up the survey. I was reading it earlier. It's kind of amazing, I think, about what people. Here it is. So let's see if we can get this up quickly. Let's just see some of the highlights of the survey. This is the survey mirroring previous years. And this, I just want to do this one. Most taxpayers believe it is not at all acceptable. We talked about this already. I read these stats. Still, fewer than half of all taxpayers agree that it is their personal responsibility to report anyone who cheats on their taxes. So almost half of Americans believe they should tell on their neighbor if they're cheating. Personal integrity is the top influence, a great deal or somewhat, on reporting and paying taxes honestly for 90% of taxpayers, followed by avoiding interest penalties, 76%, and their ability to pay, 68%. Gen Z and millennials are significantly more influenced by the risk of paying interest and penalties, fear of an audit, and the belief that their neighbors are reporting and paying honestly compared to the older generation. For Gen Z, in particular, the ability to pay, the desire to take care of fellow citizens, and how the government uses taxes affects them more than any other age groups. So there's lots of this. This is the survey. While a majority of Americans trust the IRS to help taxpayers understand their tax obligations, 66%, this year brought a significant increase in the percentage of taxpayers that completely disagree with this sentiment, 14% in 2021 compared to 10% in 2020. Overall, a third completely or mostly disagree that they trust the IRS to help them understand their obligations. Well, because no one will answer the phone. How can they help you with your obligations if they won't even answer the phone? Taxpayers' trust in the IRS to fairly enforce the tax laws dropped to the lowest percentage since 2014, 66% compared to 72% in 2020. A smaller percentage of taxpayers trust the IRS to protect their accounts records from cyber criminals, 71%. Satisfaction with their personal interaction with the IRS also declined this year, dropping to 75% from 78%. Again, if you can get them on, I think it's fine, but you can't even get them on. So anyway, that's the book. Again, lots of information in there that over the coming weeks we can maybe get into. So I hope you can join us for that. Remember, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. Who else is telling you? Did you know that the IRS had a data book? Did you know it came out today? Well, now you do. How did you know that? Because you came to today's Tax Talk. And your neighbors should know that, and your family should know that. So share this content. Like the content, share it. We need your help. And so please do that for us. And then remember, if you're one of the people in collections that owe the IRS money, that haven't filed their tax returns in some time, and you don't know what to do, well, here's the first thing you should do. Get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problems Today. Go to freeirsbook.com. That's freeirsbook.com. Get your free copy. Again, freeirsbook.com. So thanks so much. Tomorrow is Watch Talk Radio at about 2:15. Join us on all these venues at every platform that you view us. We'll be live tomorrow about 2:15. So join us, won't you? And thanks again for joining us. Otherwise, we'll see you next Monday. But remember, tomorrow, Watch Talk Radio, 2 o'clock. Thank you.